Kevin Samuels is better than you, a suave, successful dating coach, and an Olympian debate god. And you know that's true because there are YouTube compilations of his savage moments.
I get tired of you broads telling me I'm being mean because you cannot handle the goddamn truth.
As a prodigious mental gymnast, he has the skills to put uppity women in their place. The man proves his dominance even in 3v1 Discord debates versus stupid feminists.
One of the things I kept hearing is the notion of fairness. Why is that so important to you?
That's an interesting question. I think this is the kind of thing that most people don't really ask themselves. They think it's self-evident. But for me personally, I think of it in terms of, well, I didn't choose the situation I was born in. I didn't choose who I was born to. I didn't choose where I was born. I like the idea that people's outcomes are determined as much as possible by their choices, their decisions, and that it is earned to the greatest extent possible. And for that, I believe in more of a level playing field, where people are generally held to a certain standard, and it's the same standard across the board. Now, it seems like for most people, fairness is a concept that is pretty important. Let's see what she says to his question. Why is fairness so important to you?
I hate to admit it, but I do. Like, I'm half a man. I'm just a pretty girl, and I don't think that I should have to accept less in life.
I'm half a man? What does that mean?
Because I was born with different equipment. I think that's bullshit.
Well, if you're half a man, then you should understand this full concept that men don't care about fair.
What? Oh, I think I've had it wrong all along. I guess I'm actually just not a man. All right. Thanks, Kevin Samuels.
Men don't care about fair, or else we wouldn't conquer other people.
Is he just dropping that in like it was an own? And they're all like, oh.
You're of European descent.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer. What am I listening to? What do these comments say? Women are valued for how they're built. Men are valued for what they've built.
A lot of warring tribes, Germania, the Franks, if we cared about fairness, we would just let everybody stay on their land. Vikings wouldn't have raided and pillaged. England would have stayed on its island. Men don't care about fair. We conquer. It's winners and losers.
He's right, you know. The other day, I broke into my friend's house, stabbed him, stole his Xbox. Cops didn't find me. I'm a winner, he's a loser. Hell yeah, boys. Hey, don't tell me about unjustified or wrong or unfair. That's my man DNA. We don't care about that. This has 500,000 views and like a really positive like to dislike ratio. What am I watching? Outside of the flawless talking points, this was a masterful display of not allowing shaming tactics. Is this what passes off as like good points or like good debating skills? That things have been unfair in the past, therefore men don't care about fairness? Just because something has existed a certain way or some instances of that thing has occurred, doesn't mean that that's what everyone wants to accept as like a norm for the future. That imperialism, that slavery, these were bad things. Alright, so while editing, I checked out more of this dude's content, and he is verifiably insane.
Removing reproduction. Men don't need women to survive because we already run the infrastructure. We will survive to the end of our days with pretty much no issues as far as survival. Women, on the other hand, need men because we run the infrastructure, the power plants and all that other stuff. So what responsibility or what admiration or what respect do women owe to the men of the society who keep the world running so you can have a life?
Imagine being disinvested and having your pride attached to the gender you happen to be born as. This kind of mentality is honestly no different than what like white supremacists think. Yeah, that's right, boy. We built this world that you live in. Don't you ever forget it. So this lady calls in for help, saying that she has trouble meeting men who want a serious relationship. And naturally, Kevin goes on to ask her, basically, how long does the man have to suffer before you put out? You know, just your average normal line of questioning.
So what does that mean? I mean, I key on things like that. What do you mean? How long would you wait? How long should you have to wait?
I don't think there should be a time frame on it. But
in today's conversation, you're going to have to ask.
Okay. So
you're asking for help, so I'm going to need some information.
Oh, well, go ahead. Ask
I've already asked information. How long?
I don't have a time frame.
Okay, I'm asking again. How long?
When I'm ready.
How long?
I mean, that can be any time. It could be when you meet somebody initially.
Yeah, but about how long?
So you say how long is...
Yeah, how long? You start dating somebody. How long before you have sex?
I guess to just throw it out there, I don't know.
How long?
That's my question. I don't know. I mean, that's my answer. I don't know.
How long?
Kevin, I don't think asking more times is going to change anything. Because here's the thought, maybe, just maybe, it depends on the specific situation. I think what she's trying to say is that she can't give you an exact time frame because there's a lot of variables at play. What sort of vibes is the guy giving her? Her headspace at the time?
See, you want men to just go ahead and take their time and just go indeterminate, and you're not even willing to put a possible time frame on it.
Oh, so we need a time frame, you think?
Well, no, we need a cooperative woman.
What in the ever-loving shit is he talking about?
A lot of you ladies tend to want men to do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
You want somebody to go through the trouble of getting to know you and peel back down you and talk to you. And sorry, man, no.
Wait, you don't know anything about this lady. What?
See, what I'm showing you folks is women, you want an unfair exchange.
Wait, I thought men don't care about fair. Anyway, he's actually right. Sometimes that is the case. If you're an unemployed man who wants to become a house husband, in today's society that's completely unacceptable and you probably won't find someone. As it becomes more normal for men and women to share the housework or for women to be an increasing part of the workforce, then the expectation for the man to be the primary breadwinner is kinda unfair. But he's not just pointing at that issue here. In fact, he doesn't know if this woman represents any of that. What he is unequivocally saying, as you'll go on to see, is that women ought to operate like vending machines. You know, you put enough coin or time in there, well then, hey, you paid your dues, they gotta put out now. Yeah, that's the natural obligation, right?
Ladies, understand, you want men to do our part, but you don't even want to even broach, possibly even, I just asked a general time frame. I didn't say ironclad. She wouldn't even want to say 3 months, 6 months, 30 days. It was just whatever. But then flip it. You're not willing to just do an open-ended financial responsibility coming out of your pocket.
She goes on to say that she's someone who actually enjoys paying half. That's something that she does.
For personally, I won't let somebody do that much for me unless I'm coming halfway. And that's just me.
But suddenly, that no longer matters. The money doesn't matter to him anymore.
See, let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you.
Okay, go ahead.
You wanting to come and pay halfway don't mean nothing to us. Because our time is more important than your half of the money. But you know what? I don't want to go on a date where you paying half and I'm paying half, where the end is going to end up in a hug. I'd rather pay 100% and get laid.
I mean, that's fine, but it sounds like you're really just looking for a hooker.
I didn't know that only men were part of conquering.
Well, name me some great female warriors that have dominated the planet.
Well, I mean, I'm learning new education here, which is only men conquer.
No, all the stuff that you, hold on, excuse me, ma'am. The simple men built the world that you use.
I built my own world, so
no, ma'am, you used the world we built. No,
Jesus Christ, we built? Really, Samuel? Did you build it? Because I didn't.
Name me 5 great female inventors. I'll give you what, Madame Curie.
I can't believe you. So you're telling me that men and
no, ma'am, I just asked you a question, and you just no. You go. See, you're answering questions with questions. You're talking about building. Name me 5 great female inventors or builders. Madame Curie.
5 inventors or builders. That's a really great question. That really is.
Why can't she just say, I don't know?
Yeah.
Why can't she just say, I don't know? And that's indicative of a society that probably women weren't given the same opportunities.
Go on and do it. Go on and do it. Go. Take it. She's afraid. Go on and do it. Go on and get on in there, baby girl. You got it.
My point is, if there's a fire, you call the fire department. Those are men. You need a police emergency. Those are men. Mm-hmm. Men built your building, built your car, built the roads. Mm-hmm. You don't think the people who are living in the world, the men built, owe the men that built them. The men built your house. You don't think you owe them something?
You know, typically in the city I live in, these men, what are they called? Builders. They get paid. And to be honest, I don't know if all men deserve props for the work they do. Also, I mean, there are female builders. The frustrating thing is any sort of nuanced discussion about like gender inequalities is so cancerous because of this mentality. You know, there are some issues, some unfair things that men face that are specific or mostly unique to men. Just as there are some aspects in society where women benefit from unfair standards. But it seems like for so many people like Kevin, instead of just bringing attention to those issues or using that knowledge to improve the world in some way, they start shifting their energy towards hating the other group while trying to grasp at some ill-gotten sense of pride in their own group. You know, there are women versions of this as well, you know, people that use societal imbalances as weapons to beat each other with, like it's a competition. It's counterproductive and frankly, it's just kind of lame.
Because if you expect something of me, I should be allowed to expect the same of you. And if you can't offer me that, you don't deserve to be in my life.
But that has nothing to do with fairness.
It has everything to do with fairness.
No, fairness means you get an opportunity. Fairness doesn't mean you get an outcome.
Oh my God.
Why are there people laughing like he just made a good point? Look at her face. She's like, yeah, you got me there. He didn't. He sounds pretty, but he's not saying anything.
You get an interview, not guaranteed a job.
The concept of fairness is not guaranteeing a job. That's true. The concept of fairness is that you would be evaluated on your interview by the same measures and by the same standard as everyone else interviewing would be. Next video on this wild ride. God damn, what is this intro? This is dripped out. Dripped out the wazoo. Can I just say, immediately, a lot of things stand out about this. Look at the energy he's trying to portray here, right? With the music and the aesthetic here. Look at him, he looks so cool, right? I feel like an intro like this where you're like hyper projecting a certain personality, this only works on older people.
You know, she made good money and she was, you know, and she kind of was even open to the idea of lowering her standards in the sense of what the man makes. Okay. And then she talked about wanting to go to museums with the person and this and that, and, you know, having for them to be cultured.
And the problem with her wanting somebody to be cultured Men
like,
don't give a shit about that kind of stuff in general. I
But,
mean, it'll
okay.
be no different. There'll be no different than women who saying, you know, I want a man who reads poetry and picks flowers. You guys, and you know, it's like, well, wait a minute. That's not what men do.
Some men do. Bro, come on now. Hey, get off 4chan, Kevin. It's not good for you.
Or if a man said, you know what, I want a woman who's into off-roading and NASCAR.
Some women
See,
are.
you ladies have no problem putting your expectations on.
Wait, if that's the kind of woman you want, go for it, dog. Reject the others. That's fine.
On us that are feminine, but then we put it in those terms. Hey, I want a woman who can get out, who can. You want to share with us? Good, babe. Go buy the new PS5, the new Call of Duty, the new 2K, and it's like, well, I'm not into that stuff. Well,
Listen, everyone out there are plenty of sweaty, nerdy, loser, basement-dwelling gamer girls out there, okay? Obviously, there are proportions, right? In the level of interest for certain things. Even in the younger generations, being a girl in games, especially in particular types of games, like FPS games, or sporting games, or a girl that's super into sports, like, obviously that is more rare to find than a guy who's into that same stuff. But there's still plenty of them if that's important to you. You can go out and find these people. Like, there's no issue if a man wants to have those expectations of his significant other, if that's what's important to him.
Maybe it might be different because in my relationship, you know, we make those compromises. So there are going to be times where I don't necessarily want to do something or like or enjoy doing something, but I do it, you know, because I know
that's your job.
What he wants to do. Yeah.
Okay, and that's your job. And men make compromise all the time. Men don't want to have to get out and pay all the bills. Men don't want to have to get up when.
I still don't get it. He's not saying that these are bad things. He's just saying that this is the way things are. And this is such a frustrating mentality. Oh, this is men's role in society. These are women's. And you know, some things about that is unfair. Some things about that suck. But hey, those are your jobs, man.
But don't you think those compromises should be on both sides? Maybe they may be.
You want to. Here's what it should be on. Here's what it should be on. If women like her, there are more women in the world that think like her.
Okay.
They're not wives. That's end of sentence.
You hear that, bros? If she helps you get a victory royale, or you go to a museum with her, then she ain't wife material. Man like boob sport sandwich. Woman like product emotions.
You guys want to just go back and make this a philosophical debate. It isn't. It is what it is.
That right there is the crux of it. It isn't what it is. It is what it is because we keep saying it is what it is. Right? Over time, these it is what it is mentalities change. Because what is changes. It's so frustrating because on an emotional level, he hits you, right? And he looks cool while doing it. Look at these. Look at all these comments that are just lost. They're just lost in this folderol. Sex, sandwich, silence. Ladies, let us take note. I don't think it's much more complicated than this. Women can't stand the fact that we find pleasure in simple things. So I guess men are simple and we are complicated AF. No. Everyone is as complicated and as simple as you'd like them to be. I have to tell my Gen Z sisters this before it's too late for us to be saved. You know what? From what I've seen, Gen Z people are based. They both simultaneously, like, I think, more empathetic, and they have, like, a bit of a nose for bullshit. Anyway, I just got the one of this dude's videos recommended to me recently. I had fun just going through his content. Here's something to keep in mind about YouTubers/social media personalities generally. Do not trust someone who claims to be a life/dating coach. You'll notice they always try to give off this perception that they're this larger-than-life figure. You know, they'll have this veneer of appearing to be like a cool, put-together person, but behind that, usually it's just someone who's kind of weird. And their success is essentially based on preying on needy, vulnerable people or confirming people's misguided biases. They do a good job of tapping into people's feelings of frustration and fear and sometimes legitimate grievances, and they'll seem like they're addressing those, but they never actually fully flesh out those issues or solve them in a satisfying manner. What they do is either sell you some nonsense course or churn outrage. The solution to your life's issues almost will never come from these types of people. The issue is when people use that to actually like inform their worldview in a significant way. Anyway, that's all for today. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye.